Welcome everyone to First Wednesdays with Gretchen Heido. As a note, each First Wednesday call is uploaded publicly to Gretchen's YouTube channel. This call will not be edited, so if you want your image or if you do not want your image or voice on YouTube, you can keep your mic off and muted and feel free to chat in the chat. In today's call, we'll be talking about storytelling in our coaching business, a little teaser for tomorrow's Stairway to Six mini-series call. And we have invited our special panel of Stairway to Six alum from this year. They actually went through the program this year and they're excited to share their stories with you. So with that, I'm going to pass this on to Gretchen.
Thank you, Christy. And hi, coaches. It's so good to see you. Happy December. Can't believe that we're already here. Thanks for coming tonight. I'm really excited about this special group and this panel. These are people who were in Stairway to Six, the first edition of it, and they helped me usher my mission and my dream forward. And I'm forever grateful to them that they participated in it and for what they got to go out and do in the world because of it. And I know that a lot of you that are here and many of you that are going to watch the replay, you've had questions about the program. Is it worth it? What did people get? How did they start? What did they learn? What were their big wins? Was it worth it? You know, that's what we're all wondering when we're gonna be in a program. And so tonight you can put your questions in the chat. Each person from the panel is going to speak. They're all going to introduce themselves, tell you what kind of coach they are, tell you a little bit about themselves and then their favorite pieces of the program. And you can ask anything you want. You know, there's no question that is off limits. They'll either answer or I'll jump in. And when it comes to storytelling, Christy's right, we're teeing this up for tomorrow's mini series. Storytelling is a very important part of client cultivation. And the reason for that is when you hear about the features and benefits of a program like Stairway to Six, it's this many sessions. We meet this many times a month. There will be these guest speakers. It's less interesting than hearing what happened for a person, what was their transformation, and what was the change. Features and benefits are never a selling point. And what they do is they put the person who is considering purchasing into their logical mind. Can I afford it? Is it worth it? Is the time worth it? I don't know if this kind of a group is for me. And they'll leave your conversation with, let me think about it, which means there wasn't a lot of value or they couldn't really see themselves in the experience. They didn't understand it enough. When you hear a story, something that happened with a person's client that you might work with, or you have had an experience of the person, there's a shift. Your potential client will feel different. There's no sale involved. So when someone asks you, so what do you do? A great way to answer the question is to say, I was just working with a client who, and then give an example of something great that you've done with a client, a result that they had, and give a story that really tells a beginning, middle, and end of their transformation. That always intrigues the person to ask more. So I was at my chiropractor's not too long ago, and she said, hey, you're in here all the time. What do you even do? And I said, oh, I was just working with a client who is building their business. And we just had this great coaching call where I helped them figure out how to get out of their own way when it comes to the sale. They've been wanting to make this certain amount of money. They came to me with imposter syndrome. Through our coaching, now they're earning $5,000 a month. And she said, you should talk to my daughter. She's in the middle of building her own business and is feeling that exact same way. Would have been really different if I answered the question, oh, I'm a coach. Yeah, and when people work with me, they work with me for 6 months. They get 18 sessions, and this is how much money it costs. And so for you, it's a great idea to always have stories that are a win. What are some of your favorite highlights that you have done with your clients, your favorite stories of those wins that you can easily say and that can roll off your tongue so that when that question, so what do you do, comes up or how do you work, you can say, oh, let me tell you a little bit about client I was just working with, an experience I just had. And that will help relax the potential client in and help draw them in as well. So I'm going to pause there, wondering, what does that bring up for you, or what are you getting when you hear that? Go ahead. Ted?
Oh, I think Emily had her hand up, but okay, I leaned in.
You leaned in. I was watching that body language.
You know, so many times people think I'm selling the product. The product is coaching, but people are really buying the product of the product.
Say more.
Well, you know, people think we go to Starbucks to buy, you know, we say, what does Starbucks sell? And it's like coffee. And it's like, no, yes, and you're buying into the Starbonics, you know, the language that they have. They know your name, they put it on the cup, you get on their Wi-Fi, you know what to expect, these are your people. And so you're kind of buying something much bigger than the actual coffee itself. And I think it's the same thing we're talking about here.
Yes.
Something much bigger.
That's the truth. It is something much bigger. And if you were to say to someone, you know, oh yeah, Starbucks for coffee. Yeah, you're right. That is a part of it, but it's the experience. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's a good catch. Thank you. Emily, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I'm getting that I'm selling because I do groups too, and that I'm selling them wrong because we literally listed out all of the benefits and things like that on the website. So yeah, thinking about stories I can tell instead.
Yeah, you know, and it's just amazing. Think of even our work together. If I would have said to you, oh, it's this many sessions and this is what it costs, it's really different than that experience of like, what is it that you're working on? What are you trying to create? Yeah, good deal. Galen, I saw your hand.
What it makes me think of is just our basic tribal nature and how we want to be part of a tribe. And so it's very hard to, if you're just describing features and benefits, for that person to figure out what kind of tribe they're going to be a part of if they work with you. But if you can kind of build some kind of tribe for them to be a part of, you know, people want to be a part of something.
That's the truth. They do want to be a part of something. So what we're going to do, this was just really, really quick for us to talk about the storytelling. Come tomorrow from 12 to 1 to the mini series PST time. I'm going to take you through how to do it. You're going to create a story. You're going to get to do it either in the group format, or we'll partner you up with someone to be able to talk about your story. But it's great to have 1, 2, 3, 4 that you can have roll off of your tongue so that when someone asks, what do? You've got some wins. But tonight, I want to open it up to my panel. You know, like I said, these are my past ST6ers, some of them, and we've got Kinney here, we have Matt, we have Emily, we have Adam, and we have Michael, all here ready to talk about Stairway to 6. If you have questions, and I know many of you do, drop them in the chat, or you can just unmute and ask. But what I'd like to start with is just having each coach introduce themselves, say who you coach, and give one thing, one takeaway that you got from the Stairway to 6 program. What was your biggest takeaway that you got from the program? So Kinney, you are up first because you're just here in my camera screen first.
Hello, everyone. I am Kenesha. Gretchen calls me Kenny. That's my nickname. But I am a life coach to young adults, adolescents and young adults. So I thought it was young adults when I first started Stairway to 6. Now I find that I am coaching all people, but which is great because that helped as that evolved through my process through Stairway to 6. I have partnerships with schools and recreational centers where when I coach adolescents, I provide a leadership and resiliency program in the schools. So that's a form of coaching where I train my staff with my techniques on how to uplift and help adolescents deal with change and be more resilient in life. And at this point, at one point, when I started with Stairway to 6, I was a young adult coach, meaning 16 to 25. But since Stairway to 6, I am now coaching 40-year-olds. So things have changed throughout the process. My biggest takeaway is my career in self-awareness. I didn't realize how oftentimes I was getting in my own way when it came to making money in the career of coaching. have my own, we talk about money stories so much in coaching, and have my own money story kind of prevented me from making the money that not only coaching is worth, but I deserve. And then also throughout the process, one of my biggest takeaways is how coaching can open up the doors to a lot of different opportunities that can add not only more substance and enhance the lives of my clients, but also enhance my financial pockets as well.
That's right. Thank you, Kenny. I do call you Kenny. That is our nickname. So thank you. And I'm sure people are going to ask you questions soon. Matt, so good to see you. I'd love for you to share. And I know that you have to jump off because you have another engagement. So share what you want about the program, who you are, and just in case people don't get to ask you questions, anything that you'd like the group to know who might be on the fence about joining.
Okay. Well, I'm Matt, and my work is with change maker oriented executives, coaches, and entrepreneurs that are focused on elevating humanity for today and tomorrow. And my work with them is really helping them design the next level of themselves from the inside out, and then begin to live it as they bring the next level of impossible into their world. So that's who I work with.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I took away from ST6, there were two, I was sitting here reflecting on this before our call. You and I had a one-on-one conversation as one of the bonuses for signing up early. And in that conversation, you shared both a tactic that you had used in your business and also just kind of helped me focus my attention on what I wanted for the next couple months. And from that short conversation led to me doing a campaign of invitations and sessions that led to me creating more than 2020's income in 1 month. And then the next big thing for me was you started to break the iceberg for me, especially in the one-on-one stuff that we did around trusting myself. The results were there with my clients. I was making more money this year than I had made the year before. And the year before that, I kept doubling and tripling. And I think the biggest thing I took from that was the power of self-trust. And it's been interesting to see what's unfolded for me since those months following that as well.
Yeah.
So if you're on the fence, there's a couple things. Ask yourself, why are you here tonight? Why are you really here? And when you check in with yourself, whether you listen to your intuition or some other voice, what's telling you to lean in and say yes? And then is that the same voice that's keeping you on the fence, or is it a different one? And then ask what your future self would want you to do.
Drop the mic, Matt. That is some good coaching he just gave to the group too. I love the question about asking your future self, what would they have you do? Because so many times we're acting from our present place in life, but our future self wants something different. And if we can take actions to support our future self, might not be the same actions that you would take in this very moment. So sometimes there's a little bit of leap. Thank you, Matt. Emily.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Zorn, and I am a registered dietitian and health coach. And, it's funny, when I started Stairway to Six, I wasn't even a life coach yet. I just recently finished my life coaching class with Gretchen, which was awesome. And so I guess before I get into everything I learned in Stairway to Six, I just wanted to jump right into that. But I coach people who are really looking for that balance between health and enjoying their life. I know so many people come to me and they're terrified that I'm going to tell them that they can never eat pizza again or go to happy hour or do any of the things that really bring them joy. And, I like to tell people that you can do all these things and still live a healthy life if you know how to strike the right balance. All about making sustainable changes that clients can continue for years and years. And so I help people figure out what this balance would mean for them and help them make it a reality. So Yeah, and I also do group coaching with another life coach who I met through Gretchen's first group, Build Your Business. And yeah, it's been really fun. It's called Balance Mind, Balance Body, and she takes over the mindset piece and I do the nutrition piece, and that's been a lot of fun. So that's what I do. And you know, if I had to say one big takeaway from Stairway to Six for me, when I joined, I was a fairly new coach. It'd been about 6 months since I'd started my business, and I didn't know the things to do to create clients. I was kind of sitting around and waiting for people to come to me, and it wasn't working very well. So I get so many takeaways, but my biggest one was really knowing how to, Gretchen calls it turning the tap on and off. So knowing that, okay, my client roster is lower than I want it to be, knowing the specific steps I can take and things that I can do that will create clients, and learning those things, putting it into practice, learning how to track them in a way that works for me, really was mind blowing to see that there are actual things I can do that turn into making more money, having more clients, getting more yeses from people. And so that was my biggest takeaway. You know, now knowing how to turn the tap on and off, and really finding a sense of peace where I know I can put in a good day's work and that it's going to eventually turn into something good, like planting seeds for the future. And that's just totally changed my mindset around my business. So yeah, so that's what I have. A lot more to share, but I'll stop at that so everyone has a chance to say something.
Thank you, Emily. And Emily always gets me to eat pizza. Every time I see her, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go order a pizza. But so for you, it was the combination of the community and the relationships that you made, as well as being newer, where Matt was a little bit more seasoned in his coaching experience. And it didn't matter. It was good to have both within the group, and then learning that step by step as well of, what do I do? Because I know for a lot of us coaches, we get out of coaching school, we hopefully know how to coach, that's what the schools teach, but we often don't know how to build a business in a way that feels good. And so with Stairway to Six, the big focus is on, let's help you get 6 clients. Let's really take a look at what are the best ways to do that. And then let's build the foundation to 6 figures. So it's kind of like a 2-part. And Emily, for you jumped in full out, and you were not a certified coach at the time. And so for you, building your business in that way too is pretty remarkable, all that you were able to do. Thank you for your story. Adam, what about you?
Biggest takeaway is how to turn the mute button off. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adam Smith. I'm a certified life and career coach. Before starting with Stairway to Six, I would have answered that I coach everybody. And through the Stairway to Six program, I really learned who I want to coach. It's not just going to be everybody I get on the phone with. Thank you for that, Matt. I learned that I want to work with people that have fun. I don't want people that are just going to be taking themselves too seriously during our time together, because it felt like my 9 to 5 at that point. And if I wanted to just do more of my 9 to 5, I'd just do more of my 9 to 5. But I do coaching because I am passionate about helping people learn, helping people grow, helping people overcome obstacles. And I could help everybody, but there's certain people that I do want to help, people that that I jive well with. And that was one of my hugest takeaways, is I don't need to chase clients. If I don't want to work with somebody, I'm not going to work with them. And that was pretty huge. On top of that, it was becoming a leader in my own business. So not letting the client set the terms. That was a big one for me, because initially it was, oh, you want to pay me? Okay, I'll let you. You want a discount? Sure, I'll give you a discount. Now it's here's my terms. Here's how I work. No, it's we're not going to just have you call me when you want. We're going to schedule an appointment. This is how I run my business. So it was created less anxiety for me within my own business and more of a chance to step in as a leader.
Thank you for that, Adam. And that's one of the modules as well, is really getting clear on who do you want to coach? Who would excite you the most? Because as coaches, we can help, we can help anyone with a problem or a dream, but who excites you? What are the personality traits that you enjoy working with? What are the missions that you want to be a part of? Whose vision is really something that you can get behind? And so when we stop saying yes to everyone, we can get really focused on where we can serve at the highest level. Thanks for sharing that, Adam. Michael, your turn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Ehrenberg, and I've redefined my coaching paradigm to say that I coach people who are motivated to change and transform from things in ways that they've been stuck into ways that they envision their future. And that can be executives, entrepreneurs, people who are retired, people who envision for themselves something that's bigger on the horizon, something that's been missing in their life. Sometimes they already know it, and they come to me and they say, this is what I've been wanting to do this, and I feel like we're good to go. Other people say, I'm stuck and I don't know why I'm stuck, but I want to get unstuck and I'm motivated to get unstuck. So for me, it's all about being motivated and excited about something bigger on the horizon, defined or undefined. I came from a sales, marketing, and promotion background in the music industry. And I guess what this is moving into the sort of the takeaway. And I always was very strong in intuition, building relationships, solidifying relationships for decades. But I found in my coaching style, with the multiple certifications and a few clients here and there, I was stuck in being able to what now we call selling without selling, but rather serving. And that's the biggest takeaway, I would say, for me in the Straight to Six program and working with you one-on-one, is it's really about taking the whole idea of like, what do I do? What is it that I actually do? There are some people that I've worked with recently that actually did hire me that were like, well, what do you do? And I would try to explain that. They kept saying, well, you're a coach. Well, you're a coach. And I said, okay, fine, I'm a coach, but can we put that aside and let me give you an example? I sort of not argue with them, but say, let's really look at what it is that I do and give them the idea of the experience. And that kind of always opens up possibilities of engaging potential people that you want to work with and that want to work with you.
And congratulations on your new clients, Michael.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so there's something different that all of these coaches have said. So I wonder, from those of you who are here listening tonight, what questions do you have about the program that you want answers to, not from me because it's my program, but from the people who were in it? Yeah, Galen.
I guess from the folks that said they got clear on who their client was, I'd like you to go a little deeper into that. Like, how did you get clear about that? Or what about the program helped you to get clear?
I'll start with an answer.
Go for it.
Okay, so really it involves enrolling people in powerful and crucial conversations with what is at stake for that client, for that person, really digging in and letting go of what the idea that they may or may not even work with you, but the idea that you are giving them some serious value in a conversation that you have set up with them. Set aside an hour or whatever you're willing to give with that potential or targeted client and create real value for that person, which means digging deep, finding out what matters to them, what's important to them, where they want to be in their life, what's been missing, what are the obstacles, how they envision their future self. Am I answering that in a way that's understandable?
I think that would help you get clear on if someone was committed, if somebody was going to, set up to really do well, maybe with your coaching. But my question was more about who is the particular population you want to, work with? Is there a specific group or people with specific issues that you want to work with?
Well, for me, it's like a whole array of different, it could be career, it could be life, it could be health, it could be finance, because for me, and I think for many people, the whole notion is that we don't come into this world with one specific issue. Generally, they overlap, right? I mean, your health affects your finances, affects your career, affects your relationships. So for me, it's like it can be a whole array of different topics or life issues and obstacles. So for me, I really look at the individual and how motivated they are and what they're willing to do in terms of commitment to doing the work, to getting to their goals and their life achievements and what they want.
Thank you,
Is that
Michael.
clear?
I'll jump in.
Yeah, go for it.
For me, so initially, as I stated, I thought I only wanted to work with young adults because ultimately I realized who my ideal client was by understanding what the outcome was. So if you know what the outcome is for whomever you want to coach, like what is it that you want to change? So at the end of the day, for me, I felt like I want to be the woman that I needed when I was in my 20s. But guess what? I'm in my 40s. So that means that when I was in my 30s, I needed things as well. And so what I realized is that when you think about the end result, what is it that you want? For me, I want my clients to know what it's like to live peacefully, to live in freedom, to know how to really feel like every day when they wake up, that they're living their best life, their best version of themselves. And when I went through Stairway to 6, and I realized it's a process, okay? So that whole module is a process. Throughout that process, there are questions that's asked that really talks about who you are and why you want to be a coach and what impact do you want to make. Once I realized what impact I wanted to make, then I realized that, I created this whole vision that I wanted to, or this whole niche, whichever one you want to go with, that I was going to focus on young adults, but I realized that the end outcome is you could be 40 years old and still have no peace. You can be 50 years old and not feel like you're living the best version of yourself and not being as great as you would potentially want to be. And so once I realized that, I myself realized, once I realized the outcome that I wanted from my clients or potential clients, that's when I realized that, my ideal client could be anyone. However, not just anyone, someone that is determined, focused, and is clear and willing to do the work to be the best version of themselves. Someone that not only really wants an accountability partner, but somebody that needs more so of a think partner. Someone that's not in a way that I'm enabling them from being the best person they can be. You know what I'm saying? So the beginning process of knowing who your ideal client is knowing what results you want from your clients. What is it? What change? What change maker do you want to be? So if in your mind, it's like, I want to make sure that individuals in this world understands that they can seek financial freedom, not just from a 9-to-5. So I want to coach them to make money beyond a 9-to-5 or see the potential beyond the 9-to-5. So that helps you narrow down who your ideal client is.
Yeah, really good answer there. Galen, are you getting what you need with this? Is it answering your question?
Yeah, that was a little bit closer. I mean, I could go down that rabbit hole for a while, and I certainly don't expect everybody to go down the rabbit hole very much. Yeah, and I'm not going to dominate the time, but I guess the one thing that comes up for me, maybe a different way to ask it is, how do you know when you're too general with your ideal client and when you're not? And for example, I think where I'm at in my process right now is I know I want to work with what I would call helpers. So someone that the motivation that drives them is they want to create some good in the world. They want to make something better, more than it doesn't mean they don't want profit, but it means that it's their first priority is promoting good, creating good change in the world. And specifically, not just the people that are satisfied with, doing a little bit and knowing their little bit of good that they're doing is enough, but the people that really desire a greater impact, that want their ideas to spread, that want to make a serious impact and change and want that to expand. So I don't know. I guess I find myself stuck sometimes wondering if that's too general.
Okay, so here's the deal. Maybe it might be too general. You're going to get to play with that. And so to your original question of how does Stairway to Six help with that, one of the modules is all about who is your client and how do you find them. We get to take a look together, and we do it in the group format. You have pre-work and you have post-work to really help you define and delve into who excites you the most to work with. And we could take a look at what's general and what's more microscopic, and how are they different and how are they the same. So that is something that we consider when you're in the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Deb, I see your hand.
Yeah, so I'm actually curious, in terms of time, how much time did most people invest, like each week over these 6 months, in order, and then, but I also want to tag that to like, and did you accomplish the goals you set out, right? Because someone could invest, yeah. So let me just tag it to that, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, who wants to take that one? How much time did you put in? And on day one, when we created your big audacious goals that we talked about at our kickoff, did you get them? Which panel member wants to answer this? All right, Emily.
Yeah, so it's funny, Deborah, when you asked that question, because the first thing that came to mind was, the things I learned in Stairway to Six, I use every day, every minute of every day when I work. So, the amount of time I put into it, like I was practicing these things every single day I was working, but I don't want this to, scare you away, because it didn't feel like a drag. It didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm putting so much time into this, because in our modules, the sessions are 2 hours, and I think they were twice a month. And yeah, and we just learned so much that you were excited to go into your practice and your day to day and try some of these things out. I think another thing I really liked about Stairway to Six was that there is, the group aspect, but a lot of it is self-driven. And I found that the more I put into the pre-worksheets and the post-worksheets, the more I would get out of them. They didn't take too long. They could have taken, you can put as much or as little time as you want into it. But I found that the more I did, the more I got out of those specific modules. It really it doesn't feel like too much at all. Some days, sometimes I was like, oh, I wish we had a group this week, but there's always the Facebook group, and you could ask questions on there, and you kind of always felt supported throughout the 6 months. So yeah, so I know that was kind of an all over the place question. But what did I answer that for you, or do you have more questions around more specifics around the time commitment?
Well, I think you did. I mean, it sounds like, it was full-time work, right? Working towards your goal. So that's, that's what I heard at least.
Yeah.
It's helpful, right?
Yes. And it another thing is that it doesn't have to be, right? That you can put in as much or as little time as you want. Like nothing is like mandatory. No one's really, I mean, there's accountability with the whole group, but yeah, it's really up to you. Whatever time you have to put into it, that's what you can do.
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome.
And it's a great question too. The truth is I really tried to accommodate any type of learner that you are. So there's a lot of doing within the program. There is examples where you're going to see me showcase it. There's guest speakers who come and talk about it. There's reading material, there's worksheets. You can do all of it or some of it. It really just depends on you. And sometimes too, we all, because we all learn differently, one modality might not work as well for you as it does for somebody else. And everything's recorded too. Sometimes you need to hear it more than once. So that's the other piece of it. So Ted, you had a question. Go ahead and unmute and ask it.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the format of this. Gretchen, you're great. I'm just curious if anyone else who had done this program had done anything else, could give me a compare or contrast in whatever way you feel appropriate.
Yeah. What other coaching programs have you done for building your business, everybody, or have you? Adam.
Some of the online self-paced stuff in the past, and it's good, but it doesn't allow you to practice in the moment, which is one of the things I really got from Stairway to Six. One of the huge aspects of it was the buddy coaching, being able to see people be coached on a lot of the same issues that a lot of us are facing as far as building our business. And having that along with the accountability that goes with the group calls, putting our accountability in the Facebook groups, the meetings, checking in, I found it to be much more impactful as far as what I actually walked away with at the end of the day versus just watching something and saying, hey, I can use that down the line. Being able to actually put it into practice in that group environment, being supported by other amazing coaches, I think was amazing. And I'll throw in another amazing.
Thank you, Adam. Anyone else? Have you done any programs? I did Steve Chandler's Advanced Client Systems program. It was fabulous and it was in person. He doesn't do it in person anymore, but he does do it online and it's great. It's still really good if you're someone who can stand watching videos the whole time. So he's got these 2-minute daily videos that I really enjoy because it's only 2 minutes. So it's not a lot for me to have to focus on. And then he basically took his whole in-person course and did a series of videos. They're wonderful and they're packed full of great information. I think the program's less than $1,500, but there's no interactive component anymore. And what Chandler did really well is he had people that would take his course over and over and over again. Rich Litvin, who is the co-author with him of The Prosperous Coach, I believe took it, I might have the number wrong, it's between 6 and 8 times. And people would ask Rich, you teach this, you wrote a book on it, why do you keep coming? And he said, I always get one more gem. And so that is one of the best business development programs that I've done. It actually is the best business development program I've ever done. I'm trying to think of some others that are out there. There's a lot out there about building funnels. If you're looking for any kind of a program like that, I don't teach anything on building funnels. I don't care about that. It's not the way you're going to, in my experience, build a profitable business, but there are a lot of courses like that. So, and then Ted, ask around too, in the ICF of what other people have done that might be comparable.
Got it. Yeah, thank you. That helped a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you got it. Steve, and again, for everyone, because it's not a huge investment, Steve Chandler's program, you have it forever. Once you've invested into it, you can watch it anytime, go back to any video that you like. It's a great course. For me, I need the interaction. I'm never going to watch the video the whole way through. I'm doing other things. It doesn't work for me that way. That's why with the course that I built with Stairway to Six, it's very much built upon Prosperous Coach teachings, all of my marketing and PR, and then everything that I learned from being Master Coach with all of the elements of engagement. And I like to focus on community. And that's one of the things that I think everyone here that was in Stairway to Six has spoken on was the community was great. People really met each other. They're still friends. when they logged in before, the rest of you, they were like, it's so good to see everybody because of it. So there's that piece as well. And then a lot of business was done within our community too. Yeah. Michael.
I just wanted to echo that sentiment. I actually looked, not before, but I still look at different programs that are offered around building your business. And there's so many programs about building your business, even outside of coaching, that are kind of interesting to take a look at. I think what narrowed it down and what I still feel very strongly about taking away from Stairway to Six is exactly at the interactivity, the emphasis on community building, the framework that Stairway to Six creates around different key aspects of the importance in building businesses and business development, which is all the conversation, it can be as sort of the intuitive part, which is learning to sell without selling. But then there's the actual modules on the hardcore nuts and bolts, which is packaging and things that I didn't really want to deal with or think about. And now they kind of much easier flow off my tongue in terms of like what to really create for people who are curious, like how does this work? I mean, I went through a enrollment call with somebody, and as we started to talk about what the different packages are, the first thing she said, oh, wait a minute, you don't charge by the hour? And I said, no, I don't. That is not going to benefit you whatsoever. And I explained that okay. I haven't enrolled her as a client, but I think she got a much better understanding. But I digress. The point is that for me, what Stairway to Six really did do was create this, a paradigm by which to put your footprints in different areas of building your business.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Michael. Deb.
So Gretchen, would you say then that it's more about a system, right, that you've created? It's like entering into a system that you're going to work for 6 months, and then also just like picking up the culture and the language like via osmosis, right, from listening to you coach people through the process and kind of becoming a better coach and a better communicator when it comes to enrollment. Would you say, I mean, to me, it's sounding like everything from our conversation this morning, this, and then I went on to your Facebook site, right, and I looked at a bunch of other stuff and watched a bunch of your videos, right? Would you say that's kind of what it is?
I love this question. So I don't think I would call it a system.
Okay.
Only because you can never guarantee first do this, then do this, then do that, that the 10-step this or that. This isn't that sort of thing. It's really based on service, and it's based on your way of being. And so we talk a lot in the program about who you're being and the way that you show up. Yeah, I like what Kenisha's saying, transformational process, that you're transforming during the 6 months, and your ideas about money and enrollment and conversation and the need to get clients changes into how can I serve clients. It's a personal transformation that happens, but the part about becoming a better coach, yes, and learning through osmosis and from practice and from the worksheets and the videos and participating, you learn the language. You learn what it takes. You get to feel really uncomfortable with all of the practice. You get to roll your eyes at the beginning about service instead of selling, like, what? I just need to make some money. And then it really shifts. And by the end, you're like, oh, my heart actually, it's sort of like the Grinch. My heart actually changed too with this. It's not what I thought it would be. So if you follow what's laid out, by myself and the people that I've learned from, it's a little bit of a system, but it's more just best practices. Mm-hmm. If these are the things that you do, people will respond in a better way than if you were just out there trying to sell.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Michelle or Heather, do you have questions?
Hi, it's Michelle. Thanks. I have to admit I'm cooking dinner while I'm listening.
That's all right.
No, I think that some of my questions were answered already. I think what I'd like to do, maybe Gretchen, is have a one-on-one call with you, just to better so you can better understand some of the things I've done and see
Yeah.
whether the program's a good fit. So thank you.
You got it. Christy will set that up with you. No problem. And Adam, I saw your hand.
I just wanted to revisit Deborah's question when she asked about when she threw out the term system. What I observed is there were, I don't know, 20, 30 different coaches who had 20, 30 different ways of running their businesses. We each had different things that we took away from the calls, different things that we bounced off of each other. We ran game film when there was an enrollment call. So it wasn't so much of a system as it was take what you like, incorporate it into your business. If there's something that doesn't click, what does click for your business? How do you want to run your business? So it wasn't so much of a formula as it was a way of being in your business. And a lot of that as far as the best practices for enrollment calls. So getting a lot more comfortable there, outreach, developing the packages, stuff like that. So it's building the business in the correct direction, the direction you want it to build in, but it's not so much of a formulaic system.
It's the foundation. And that's the whole point of the program. It's to give you a foundation that's going to be with you for years. You know, when Matt was on the call and he was talking about that, yes, he did have he had his most profitable month. We were coaching together and he was in Stairway to 6. And system, I don't know, he followed some of the suggestions from the program and was able to gain some confidence that he needed to be able to move forward. So it's really going to be a matter of the leaning in. But here's the other thing that I think is magical about it. It's the group dynamic. You're watching other people and we check in on what's your win. And when we ask your win, it adds a little bit of pressure because some people are like, I don't have any wins yet. And then other people are, you know, uncomfortable about they haven't earned anything or they haven't tried anything, but it pushes you to try. And what was developed, there were workshops developed, there were speeches developed, people had all kinds of programs and packages. And this was the other cool thing. Many of the coaches, because you can do this within the group, would put on their workshop and practice it with the other coaches and then get feedback of how that went. And then they'd coach together too and practice their enrollment conversations together. So a lot of high flame intensity if that's what you're into. Okay, Carrie, do you have questions or comments? Okay.
Just here to support and listen.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you, Daniela. How about you?
Hi, I do have a question actually.
Ask it.
And I think you already know this about me, Gretchen, that I'm not a big online person. So I haven't gotten a lot of clients from online. So I'm curious to know when your businesses did start growing through this process, how do you guys show up for your clients? Do you find them online? Was it having one-on-one interactions with them? Like, what was the process that you guys experienced and the success you experienced with that?
Who wants to take this one? Did you build your business online or one conversation at a time? How did you do it? Michael. Unmute.
You know that I'm going to answer the former, the latter rather,
Yeah.
which is building conversations one step at a time. So just as an example, I had this plethora, this huge list of people when you and I spoke, Gretchen, about who in my life have I just randomly even been involved with in business and relationships. Well, 50 people appeared. Some of those people I knew really well, other people I'd worked with, and I just started reaching out. And one example is that I'd left the music industry and I hadn't been in contact with many of those people. And some of those people didn't even know that I'd left. And so I reached out and said, hey, this is just an example. Dear so-and-so, it's been so long, I'm not even sure if you know that I left. Well, here's what I'm doing. I've just, from the experiences in my life and how I've helped people in the past, I'm now taking it to another level. I'd love to talk to you about what I'm doing and see if I could be of any help and service to you. definitely got a lot of great, responses back of people being curious and interested and wanting to have conversations. One of those conversations was with a person that I wanted to interact with who had been a good friend. And we just, in the business, we had lost contact. Well, it turns out he was coming to LA. We've known each other for decades. He ended up staying at my house in my back house for a couple of days. And we had a 3-hour powwow at breakfast on who in his world, which is very connected to the, that industry, who I could be of service to. So it was one conversation, one building of a relationship of people that I knew well and that I didn't know well. One deep conversation at a time, one conversation that was, crucial to even opening the possibility of working with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so Daniela, none of these coaches do a ton of social media because that's not really our thing. Now you can, here's what I say about social media. If you love it and you're already good at it, do it, because some of your people will be there. If you're someone who is adverse to it and you don't like it, your clients probably aren't there anyway. And so this program is not focused on doing social media, although if that's your jam, I'm not going to tell you don't do that. It might be helpful for you, but it is not necessary or the basis of how you need to build a successful business. All right. To my panel, I really want to thank you for taking your time tonight to come out and to share with this group your wins. And it's so good to see your faces. It's really good to see your faces. To my panel, if any of you want to jump in onto Stairway to 6, if there's any module that you would like to revisit, email me and we can talk about you jumping in for that one. It's no problem. To the rest of you, it's so good to see you tonight. And I wonder what takeaway, if any, did you get from this tonight? What did you hear that sparked some interest for you? If anyone wants to unmute and share or drop it in the chat, what sparked interest in this conversation?
I think there was just an energy I felt from the people who had been in the program. I say particularly with Michael and then the gal who was doing the nutrition mind coaching. You could just feel the energy that came off of that and just the excitement that they have about what they're doing. Yeah. So it was good.
Good, thank you. Ted, what were you going to say?
No, I really appreciate the interaction component with peers. So many times, yeah, I know that now. And I forget it was Adam, I think just practicing it is the difference. So I get it.
Yeah, good. And then I see Michelle having a group to go through this with. That's the key. Coaching can be so lonely and you don't know if you're doing it right. And we're all wondering, how much money do people make? How do you make money? Can you make money? What is happening here? And you have nobody to talk to about it that's going to tell the truth. But when you're in this group, one of the agreements is we're going to tell the truth and we're going to talk about money. That's just the other piece of it. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about how to make money. We're going to talk about your thoughts about money, and that there's no taboo on it either. And the coaches really brought their authenticity to the group as well. And yes, there was some friendly competition within the group. There really was, and it was great. I love that sort of thing. But there was also a spirit of support, and really, how do we bring those that are maybe not as far as we have gone? How do we pull them forward with us? What do they need? So that was the other great part about the group too. All right, and Emily, I see this being a part. Yeah, you miss being a part of this group. Yeah, oh, Emily. So it's good to see all of you. If anyone wants, you can all unmute, just say goodbye. And if anyone has questions, get a hold of Christy. She'll get you on my calendar. Tomorrow's the mini series on storytelling. You're going to come up, you're going to leave with, you're not going to come up, you're going to leave with your own story that you can say when someone asks, what do you do? Or will this work for me? So that's going to be great. I hope that you can make it. Christy, I think you already dropped the link in somewhere on here. Of course you did. And if you need anything or have questions about the program that you want to talk about further, let us know. Let us know. Okay, everyone. So good to see you. Have a wonderful December, and I hope to see some of you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Take care.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.